Hi, I'm Dan Seiler, and this is John Licata. We're here at LicataLive, and we have some information we'd like to share with you. We have a little bit of a housekeeping issue to talk about first, which is
Yeah,
very important. Go ahead, John.
yeah. Thanks, Dan. So our Licata Group team is supporting the Lake of the Woods Lions Club, and it's a support the school supply drive. So it's for Orange County, and our office is a receiving end of donations between July 10th and July 24th, and as always, we try to make it fun and interesting. Um, Anyone who makes a donation uh, becomes eligible for a chance to win 2 tickets for a Fred Nats game. The Fred Nats are the minor league baseball team of the Fredericksburg Nationals, and this is their inaugural season. They have a beautiful stadium down near the Expo Center in Wegmans. So anyway, come to our office. We're located between the AT&T store and the CDS in the Food Lion Shopping Center, Monday through Friday between 9 and 5:30. Come on and stop by and say hello. Bring some type of donation, some type of supply. There's a lot of kids who in the county that don't have the means to get the necessary supplies to start the school year on good footing. And this is our way of supporting that endeavor. So you're always welcome to stop by anytime. We always have coffee here, some goodies here. But in this case, it'd be nice if you could drop by a donation and maybe win some tickets to the Fred Nats.
Yeah. I think another thing to remember too. Hey, we have clients in Culpeper and we have them in Fredericksburg. If you're coming from Culpeper to Fredericksburg, stop by. The office address is 36111 Goodwin Drive. And as John said, you're always welcome here. There's always a lot going on in the office, and there's always some activity and certainly some information being shared.
Yeah, and we're a nice location, halfway to Fredericksburg, halfway to Culpeper, certainly an hour from Charlottesville, and an hour or so from Northern Virginia and D.C. But anyway,
I have something else we should share. So you'll see John and I are sporting new lanyards, which we're using for identification in addition to our business cards. And on the back of the lanyard is what is known as a QR code. And for anybody under 45, they are probably laughing at John and I going, of course it's a QR code. But the QR code, you basically focus your camera on it, and it allows you to get our contact information on your iPhone, and you can just download that to your phone as the contact information versus the traditional cards, which of course we have as well.
yeah, we have the business cards, of course, and we have a number of ways to identify us, but we as we often do here at Licata Group, we took a class on safety and security, and one of the things that came up, they brought up examples. There are folks that go into residents, knock on the door. Agents shouldn't do this, but they might knock on a door unannounced and identify themselves as realtors getting access to properties and whatnot. Sometimes it's for sale by owner, or it could be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And you never know who's really coming into your house. So we did this really as a means of security and identifying that this is who we are. We are realtors. It is a Licata Group team, and as a sort of an extended service to our clients and prospective clients.
Right. A lot of people refer to us as real estate agents, but in fact, there are real estate agents, but there are realtors, and it's a little bit of nomenclature in terms of the difference, but a realtor is a member of the National Association of Realtors. we're part of the professional compliance group that basically governs this particular trade. And, we get really sensitive about that because, hey, we literally pay our dues both figuratively and educationally to be in compliance and understand the latest ethics guidelines. So it's a really important distinction. And as John said, hey, folks are putting for sale by owner posts in their yard thinking, hey, this is great. I'll just have people, call or come. Well, we'd prefer that, you don't want a total stranger to come in your house, although you're basically inviting them to. So we want to protect those who we interact with in the general public, right, John?
Yeah, and a lot of folks who are doing for sale by people, often who are doing for sale by owners, they don't do any screening at all, and they pretty much let anyone and everyone into their house. Kind of crazy when you think about it, but this is a small way of us to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah. So today's topic, we don't have a particular topic, but we might as well talk about it, John, right?
Yeah. We're always talking about the market.
We're hearing shift. You'll hear shift on CNBC, you'll hear it on CNN, you'll hear it on Fox Business News, and generally a shift means there's been a turnabout in the market to some degree. And at this point in time, we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks, being ahead of what is the media curve, basically based on our research. So we have been counseling our clients accordingly. So, what are we telling clients who are thinking about listing their home now, John?
Yeah, so a couple things on that, and I don't want anyone to think that it's extremely dramatic, because it's not. It is still very much a very strong seller's market, and it will continue to be a very strong seller's market for the near and not so near future. Ultimately, it's driven by low inventory, and inventory has kicked up a little bit. So when we put a house on the market during this hot period, you might get 32 looks, 32 showings, and 5 or 6 offers or more. In some cases, we had one a couple months ago where there were 39 offers. Just ridiculous. Now it might be 16 showings and one or two offers. So it's still very, very strong.
Right.
It's just not quite as strong. And the good news is for the sellers, it's strong. But for the buyers, and Dan, I know you could support it with some data, is inventory has been measured, and it's up. It's probably as high as it's been for some time.
Right. So year over year on a national basis, the last month or so, the increase in inventory has been about 5% compared to the same time last year. In the community that we're physically located in, what are we seeing, John? What is that?
Almost a 67% increase, 16% year over year now, but it's really been driven by the last month. Now, it's still small. So when you think about, I'm just going to think about the community where our office is near, where there's over 4,000 homes. A typical community is going to have 4 to 8% homes on the market. So that would be 120 homes, say at 4% in a 4,000 home community. Right now, in that same community, there's only 45 homes. So, where last month there were 15 or 16 homes. So it's increased a lot, but it's still woefully low.
Right.
And that's a trend. That's anywhere and everywhere. What I have found out, just quickly, I spoke to a couple of lenders that we have relationships with, and of course our team services the greater DMV area down here into northern central Virginia. What we're finding is right around DC, Fairfax, Arlington, Montgomery County, market's tough compared to Spotsy, Fredericksburg, even Stafford, and here in Orange County and Culpeper. It's a much better market comparatively. Home prices are still very, very affordable, and again, when I talked to you about the 39, I think it was either 37 or 39 offers we had, that was in Prince William County, right outside, just a little bit outside of the Beltway. So our area here, right here in what I would call northern central Virginia, is very, very attractive, very affordable, low taxes and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and as John had mentioned, I just pulled the May statistical report for the Fredericksburg Association of Realtors, which covers King George, Stafford, Spotsylvania, Fredericksburg, Orange County, and what they're showing is the average days on market is 11, and the months of inventory are not even a single month's worth of inventory. So it still is a very, very much a strong seller's market.
So a balanced market, which is good for buyers and good for sellers, is 6 months of inventory. We're at less than a month of inventory.
Than a month, yeah.
So the reality is very favorable for sellers.
Right. So what we want to share with you when you're selling your home now is we're going to have to, excuse me, move you back to fundamentals. And when we talk about fundamentals, John, I think of what your lovely wife always shares with me. And that's the word CAPE. So condition, accessibility, price, and exposure. Those are the 4 elements that we as partners can establish when we do a listing. So maybe 6 weeks ago, you would have a house and someone would say, hey, I'm selling it as is. So we're counseling our sellers to say, well, certainly you can sell it as is, but statistically, John and I, through our research, have found if you make your property optimal in terms of those 4 elements, you can get, what did we decide, up to 16% more money for your listing.
Yeah, our metric shows that on the properties that our team lists historically, and we're not talking about, we don't sell 4 or 8 houses a year, we sell hundreds of homes a year, that in our system, in our proven repeatable system, that it averages somewhere between 12 to 16% net to the client, to the seller, if you take into account and you follow the proven repeatable systems that we adhere to and we recommend. I'll give you an example, like as is. Now, I've seen more as is in this recent market than ever before.
Yeah.
Why would someone sell their home as is? It's because they don't want to deal with any fixes. They don't want to deal with any fixes. But as a buyer, when you think about it realistically, when someone says their home is as is, they're thinking, is there something that the seller knows that's major that they're not telling us about? That right. When I buy the house, I'm going to buy this big surprise. And the reality is it's rare that's the case. And what we found historically, when there's a home inspection done, it reveals, a home inspection is for material defects. Rarely do you find anything major. It does happen. Absolutely yeah. It does happen. But rarely. It's usually a few $100 fix to make it right. And I say to a client who, I just want to do as is. And I said, well, if you work with us, statistically, we're gonna sell your home at 12 to 16% more than net than you would otherwise. If I, in this market, if I was able to sell your home at the best at its best, and maybe you make 10 to 15,000 more dollars than you would have otherwise, would you pay $500 to make 10 or 15,000? Of course you would.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's sort of how I break it down into that. Now it's easier on the realtor to be as is. It's easy to say that to a client. Yeah, sure. As is, your house will sell.
Right.
But you're not going to get the most net for your money. So in our view, that's how we approach it. Now, ultimately, it's up to you. It's up to you. We're your humble servant. We're going to do what you want, but we're going to give you advice based on what's going on at that time. And I sort of think it's not in your best interest to do that. But ultimately, that's just one small example, Dan.
Right, and that's a really great example. And John laid it out perfectly when he said, our job is to advise you. Whether you decide to follow our advice or not is entirely up to you. We're not trying to create adversarial relationship with our own clients. We're trying to maximize the return on what they currently own. And I think that's a real important.
We want to give you the best advice that's working at that time and that we've studied and we know with our research in the market. And that's why you use us. Hopefully that's why you use us over someone else. So ultimately, right, we make you more money.
Yeah.
We make you more money.
Hey, one of the other statistics we saw, John, in our lakeside recreational community here at Lake of the Woods is an increase in the median price. Why don't you talk about that for a little bit, John?
Yeah. So, month over last month compared to the month the year before, almost a 21% price increase. I mean, that's not sustainable. Now, I think across the country, the average has been about 14%.
Yeah, hold on a second, John. So in Fredericksburg, it was 15%. And in Caroline County, it was 20%. King George, 9%. Orange County, of course, is 30%. So that jives pretty close to Lake of the Woods. Spotsylvania, 13%. Stafford, 18%. And Colonial Beach, 25%. So
I mean, what... If and we're in real estate, and I believe in real estate. I think it's important for someone's wealth and well-being to be invested in real estate, and of course, owning your house is a big component of that. But when I tell folks who are considering buying a home, and most people don't stay in a home for 50 years anymore, like my parents did. I think the average now is a little less than 10 years. People
right.
are staying at home. Used to be 4 years.
Yeah, 4, and then it graduated to 7, and then
now it's around 10.
Yeah.
And I tell folks that if you think of your home as increasing in value 2 to 4% a year, which is a historical national average, 2 to 4% a year, 2 to 4% a year. Do the math. 2 to 4% a year. Stay in the home 4, 6, 8, 10 years. You're always going to be protected. It's going to always be a great investment. Now, 20%, oh my goodness. I mean, but it's not realistic overall. Now,
right.
It's happening right now. And do I think that there's going to be a de-escalation, that a $300,000 home is going to be worth $200,000 next year? No. But I think we'll get back to that 2 to 4%.
Right.
And it will start leveling out. But I'll tell you what, right now I'm happy with that 20%.
You got to be happy with it. If you're a homeowner and say you've paid off most of your home, you have a student who's going to college, and maybe you may want to think about a home equity loan to pay off school-related expenses versus a new student being encumbered with student loans. I mean, there's an avenue there that you may want to consider. I'm not going to advise you on it, and it's not something that we would advise ever. You need to talk to your own financial advisor, but that's what the increase in a home value could actually mean for someone who is trying to figure out how to pay for college for a student. The other thing, and John pointed it out, we don't think this trend is going to continue, but we also feel, I feel 100% confident there is no bubble, there is nothing to burst. What we think we're going to see, as John had said, that 2 to 4%, we're going to see a plateau-like escalation of home appreciation values or home pricing. We're not going to see this again next year, probably not for some time.
But as long as we have many more buyers than there are properties for sale, we're going to see a positive increase. There's just no way about it, no way around it.
Yeah.
That's pure and simple economics. I listened to Bloomberg and Bloomberg Business News, and last week they were interviewing a gentleman from Freddie Mac, and he said that for us to get things in balance, we need a new construction, 5.5 million new units. 5.5 million units. I will tell you that since 2007, starting to date myself, since 2007, we have never, since 2007, built more than 1.1 million new homes in any year. In fact, last year I think it was 400,000.
Right.
So there ain't no way we're getting to 5.5 million, and that's to get that in balance.
Right.
And in fact, and I think I may have mentioned this on one of the calls, there are more realtors in the United States than there are available homes for sale.
Right.
So think about that. In our case, we sell 200, this year we'll sell maybe 250 homes, and there's 7 or 8 of us, 7 of us.
Right.
Pat and I guess, count as one. But there isn't a home for every realtor. That's a realtor right now. So.
Right. But an interesting thing, John, let me dovetail on that Bloomberg report, because one of the interesting things that happened is that financial forecasters on Wall Street have started to downgrade the builders' stock.
Yeah.
So
I did see that too.
So that means those in the know, we like to think we're in the know from their research, they're seeing the same thing happening. They're seeing demand start to curtail, and buyers saying, hey, no, we're just going to hang out and not get into the market. So while it's a seller's market and it's going to be very strong, many years out in the future, and that's how these folks are projecting, is, hey, at some point in time, this wonderful period of selling will come to an end. So count on us to keep you informed.
But Dan, to me, that's part of the shift. What's going on
exactly.
in the shift, and
exactly.
And this is my humble opinion, or not so humble opinion, depending on who's listening. What folks who want to buy a home, who would normally be in the market, who were putting excellent offers on homes and not getting them,
right?
They got tired of
absolutely
of making a valiant effort and not succeeding. So those folks, because of this, and I use the word craziness, because of the strength of the seller market, said, I'm going to sit it out for a while until it calms down.
Right. And
that's a big part of what's going on. The good news is, again, instead of 32 couples or 32 people looking on your house, it's now down to 16. Like I would normally say, in our experience, what we do, you're going to get 16 people visit your house, and when 16 people visit your house, you're going to get 1 to 2 offers, at least one offer. Well, what was happening is 40 people were looking at your house, and you're getting 6 or 8 offers. Well, that's what's slowing down.
Right.
We're going to be back to the 16, and we're going to be back to the 1 or 2. I'll compete with 1 or 2. I don't want to compete with 37 or 39.
Right. So really, and John, I personally have been reaching out to my buyers who basically experienced that type of fatigue and said, hey, now's the time to come back into it and see that there's more inventory on the market and maybe it's a little bit more flexible for you. So we're encouraging sellers, of course, to list because the market's so strong, and we're telling buyers, hey, we're coming back into balance. So come back to the market, look at this again with us, and let's work together.
So if you're a buyer, now's the time to start looking to get back into the market. It is starting to function more
post-pandemic.
Post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And if you're a seller, hey, it's still it's a great time. It's a historic time, and it favors you.
Yeah, interest rates aren't going to change for some time. Maybe creep up just a little bit, but still way under 5%. So
I think that sort of does it on this. It gives you a good impression. I do want to mention something. You know, I'm real proud of our team. We have a great team, and one of the reasons is we have a great collective group, and we're doing something right now that is pretty unique.
And somewhat crazy, I think.
Little crazy. So everyone on the team, our team just bought a house. My wife and I would flip a couple homes a year, 2 to 3 homes a year, and we found it to be a good use of our time. Make a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit of money. We enjoy, enjoy doing it. Whereas we're doing one for the team right now. It's a team building process. Everyone on the team will make a little bit of money doing it when we sell it because we're improving this house. It's going to be a beautiful house. It's really been improved already. And here in the next month or so, we're going to be, as a team, rolling it out for sale. And then everyone on the team has an ownership in it, and everyone gets a little bit of a piece of the action.
Yeah.
Something sort of different and fun. When you're part of the Licata Group team, we do things to really build that team bond.
Right.
And this is doing it.
And it also makes sure that you're up to date on your tetanus shot. So I'll leave that to your imagination as we sign off.
Yeah, Dan's a bit of a klutz. When he was, we were tearing up the house a little bit.
The house tore back.
He cut
I was
himself.
the recipient.
He cut
So
himself. We don't let Dan near any pointy objects.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll be telling you more about the flip. Mary and I talked about it a few weeks back, and we're coming along, and we'll be on the market, before you know it.
Yep.
So let's finish off. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Yeah, stay in touch. Take care.